excited to make today's recipe with you guys. This is a cookbook that I found perusing my local Goodwill store for $1.99. It's from the 90s and it's double-decker confetti brownies. It has a layer of cookies and a layer of brownie, so it's a brookie, with these mini M&ms baked throughout to give it that rainbow pop to it. This, I don't know if any of you grew up in the 80s or the 90s here, but there didn't used to be so many varieties of cookies. Like getting to go to Mrs. Fields once was like a special treat, right? And man, if somebody made cookies with M&Ms in it instead of just chocolate chips, that was like, whoa, Chef Boyardee over here. This is crazy. But we're gonna go ahead and dig into this one, guys. This one's really fun.
First things first, we're gonna get out our stand mixer and we're going to put in 1.5 sticks of butter with the paddle attachment. And then we're going to put in a cup of sugar, as well as a cup of brown sugar. And now we're just going to beat these together on medium, about a 3 or a 4 if your scale goes to 7, until we get a nice fluffy texture, creaming together the sugar and the butter. Now we're going to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla. You guys know I don't measure my vanilla. And then we're going to put in 3 eggs. And once again, we're just going to beat this mixture until everything is smooth. In a large bowl, I've put 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And now we're going to put in 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. As well as half a teaspoon of salt. And as always, I'm using my Alaskan vanilla salt, but any salt will do. And we're just going to mix all those together and get them nice and evenly distributed in the bowl. Back at the stand mixer, we're going to just add the flour mixture in about 3 parts and then beat on low just until it gets combined, and then keep adding until we've used up all of our flour. With the dough fully combined, we're going to remove about half of it to a separate bowl and leave half of it in the stand mixer. In a small bowl, I've put in 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, and now we're just going to put in 1 tablespoon of melted butter and whisk to get that mixture all incorporated. You should get like a very thick, almost like a chocolate paste from this mixture. Back at the stand mixer, I've added the cocoa mixture to the half of the batter that we left behind. And now we're once again going to head and just mix this on low until it gets smooth. I've greased a 13x9 metal baking pan, and for brownies, generally speaking, you want a metal baking pan. It'll work with a ceramic or a glass pan, but it won't puff up, it won't cook as evenly as it will with a metal pan. So we're gonna take the chocolate half of our dough mixture, and we're going to just get that in there, and we're going to spread that across as the bottom layer of our double-decker brownies. Now with this half of the dough, we're going to add half a cup of mini M&ms, and we're just going to use our spoon here to get those fully mixed in and evenly distributed within the dough. And now we're going to spoon in that top layer. Now I'm going to use the help of a spatula here to try to get a bunch of small pieces of this to sort of dribble in, because that bottom layer is kind of malleable, and we don't want to mix this around and make this a marble, sort of like Blondie, right? We want to have this be a 2 distinct layers here. And now just very carefully taking your time, smooth this over so you get a distinct upper crust of cookie dough over the top of that brownie mix without mixing them together. And the last thing we're going to do before we pop this in the oven is take another half a cup of our mini M&ms and just sprinkle those across the top, just to make sure you get a really good kind of confetti rainbow pop that shows on the top of these brookies. There we go. I finished adding the mini M&M topping, and now I'm going to put these in the oven at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. When it gets close, make sure you're checking these, because this is a somewhat thin pastry and you wouldn't want to overcook it and have it end up being hard rather than soft and chewy. I just took the tray out of the oven, and these look and smell incredible, guys. I'm gonna let these cool down just a little bit before I flip them out of the pan and cut them to show you guys what the layers look like. But this is a good recipe. For $1.99, this was a really good bargain. These are all done, and I've cut them into squares, and I just want to show you guys. Look at that beautiful layering on that. That wonderful stratification between the brownie and the cookie bits. The bleeding that M&ms are wont to do with the candy coating. It gives it that confetti look, like a confetti cake. This just comes out like almost like a nostalgia bomb for me. This is really good. So I would encourage you to check this book out, check these kinds of recipes out. This is something I really enjoyed, and it's kind of a fun hobby, just occasionally perusing my local Goodwill to see what sort of random cookbooks show up there. So if you enjoyed my videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.